Welcome to New Thought Center for Spiritual Living. I'm Shannon O'Hurley, and I am so grateful to be with you this day. If you are joining us for the very first time, know that we are an inclusive, progressive, and compassionate community. We welcome all people from all life expressions, all genders, all faith paths. Everyone is welcome here. And not only are you welcome here, but know that we have mindfully and we have thoughtfully created a place just for you, exactly as you are today. So with that, I invite you to get comfortable and enjoy the service. Again, welcome.
Hi, Reverend Christine Green. Please join me as we anchor our time together in prayer. Oh, as I take a breath, how grateful I am for the breath of life, to be in this sacred moment of now. It is in this moment that I know and recognize the infinite invisible, the absolute presence, divine intelligence, perfect harmony that is good, that is God. That is the presence that moves in and through and as me, and through all humanity, through everything that is seen and unseen. And so I know this presence, this source, moves through every aspect of our service today, through the music and the message, knowing that we are inspired and uplifted. And I give thanks for our sacred community, for all the hands and hearts that make this video possible, for all the ways that we have to connect. I'm truly grateful for these blessings, and so much more. I release this word with deep gratitude and love. And so it is. I have just a couple quick reminders. Every Wednesday at 6:30 is our meditation time. Please join us for this sacred practice. Also, please remember to like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. It will help make it easier for you to find us every Sunday. Now it's time for our spiritual practice. I invite you to get centered, take a breath, and be present as we have meditation with Brian Harris.
In the stillness of this moment, there is peace. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace. And I rest and trust and breathe and know, in the stillness of this moment, there is peace. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace. And I rest and trust and breathe and know, in the stillness of this moment, there is peace. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace. And so it is. I am really excited to introduce our featured artist this morning. She is legitimately one of the most talented singers I ever have the pleasure to work with. Her faith and heart and soul just shine through in every performance in a way that's unparalleled. And you can enter into sacred space with her every Friday evening at 5 p.m. West Coast time with her live stream Sabbath Queen, which you can find at laurabermanmusic.com, as well as Facebook Live. Please help me welcome our very own Laura Berman.
Laura Berman, thank you so much. I love you, girl. Oh my goodness. It is always so wonderful to have you here with us. What a gift you are, Laura. Thank you. Thank you. And yes, people get ready. Get ready. Feels like we've been sort of saying that for a while. Get ready. What a week, huh? What a week. What a glorious inauguration filled with so much truth and beauty and promise. So Thomas Aquinas taught that we are, all of us, we are capex universi, which means that we are capable of the universe. As very little children, I believe that we knew this until life came along and we forgot it. Amanda Gorman gave us some God at the inauguration this past week. And to start us off today, to feel that inspiration and her dedication to spirit and to speaking truth, I want to just show you a short clip of spirit shining through her. So let's just take a quick look at that now.
One thing is certain. If we merge mercy with might and might with right, then love becomes our legacy and change our children's birthright. So let us leave behind a country better than the one we were left. With every breath from my bronze-pounded chest, we will raise this wounded world into a wondrous one. We will rise from the gold-limbed hills of the west. We will rise from the wind-swept northeast, where our forefathers first realized revolution. We will rise from the lake-rimmed cities of the Midwestern states. We will rise from the sun-baked south. We will rebuild, reconcile, and recover in every known nook of our nation, in every corner called our country. Our people, diverse and beautiful, will emerge battered and beautiful. When day comes, we step out of the shade, aflame and unafraid. The new dawn blooms as we free it. For there is always light, if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it.
What an extraordinary gift to experience the divine through Amanda Gorman. Feeling her spirit in that inspiration, I'm so moved, and I want to invite you to consider if there is anything within you that is wanting to be given a voice. You know, is there any part of you that is wanting to express something, to be creative or innovative or brave? My loves, I invite you to gently examine how spirit might want to be expressed more through you. And whatever that is, do that. Because yes, we are capable of the universe. When I was 6 years old, we lived in Denver, Colorado. And on our block were a bunch of kids. And except for my little brothers, most of them were boys who were taller and who were older than I was by a couple of years. Like they were like 8 or 9-ish, you know, to give you a sense of it. And we all used to play together. And I will never forget what happened on that beautiful block one summer night. It was that magical time in the early evening when the sun is setting and the light, it makes everything look like it has a hue of soft gold poured all over it. You know that beautiful time in the evening just before it gets dark. And all of us kids were outside on the front lawn and we were playing, and we had been given the 5-minute warning before supper time. and so we had 5 minutes, and one of the boys decided that we should end our playtime that night by having a race. A race all the way from the top of our block all the way down to the end to see who was the fastest of all of us. And we had this really long block where we could run from the front lawn of the house at the top of the street, and we could run across all of the lawns, the front lawn. So we weren't out in the street or anything. We could run along all the front lawns, and we could run all the way to the end of the block. And the only thing that was in between the houses at that time were these low shrubs. And so for us, they were like, hurdles in track and field that we would run and we would leap over, and we would run and we would leap over. Oh, it was just quite an adventure for the under 10 crowd. And as we lined up that summer evening, I remember thinking to myself, I want to win. I want to win this race. One of the boys was being particularly bossy and annoying, which fueled my resolve. I remember that. And so I decided I would give it my all. And I remember someone counted us off, on your mark, get set, go. And what happened next is something that has stayed with me my entire life. It's very personal, and it's actually very hard to put into words. I will do my best. I remember starting off running, and it felt like the whole experience, the whole time during that race, it felt like it was in slow motion. I remember kind of watching my body almost outside of myself fly over those hedges, and there was this strength and this force within me that was I was delightfully surprised at how effortlessly I was passing all of the kids. It was something that was greater than me. It was as if this force within me just gently took over. And the main feeling that I remember in that experience was ease. It was completely easy, and there was a feeling of connection that I had with this ineffable force of love within me. And there was this oneness. And I won the race by like a mile. It wasn't a mile, but it felt like a mile. I won it. And let me be clear, that is the only race in my life to date I've ever won. So it was very unusual. And I remember getting to the end of the block, and I remember turning around, and I remember seeing all of the bigger kids running towards me. And I remember the looks on their faces were just like total disbelief. Like, what? How did that little pipsqueak get finish and win? But more than winning the race, much more than that, I was completely shocked. I was gobsmacked because I had experienced, in my 6-year-old little self, I had experienced what it felt like to be one with the universe. I had felt time stop. And what I understand now is that I had a transcendent and numinous experience. It's one of those things you never forget. You just never forget. And we know now that this is not all that uncommon for young children. I'm sure many of you had your own type, perhaps, of numinous or transcendent experience, or maybe you know of little children who talk to angels, or see angels. And so of course on the outside, I'm sure it looked like a bunch of, kids just racing down the block one summer evening. But for me, it was something that changed me. It was something that stayed with me. And it was something that I didn't have words for. And it would take me decades to feel that kind of connection with the divine or God again. I'm sure, like many of you, I had later all kinds of what you might call woo-woo experiences in my 20s. I had those moments of seeming randomness, where I overheard a conversation that led me to that school or led me to that group of people who ended up changing my life. Or, I was, for whatever reason, something inside me, I was being drawn to a place where I ended up meeting my husband, or randomly decided to go to that thing, that workshop, that meeting that led to that game-changing, job that I landed. And I never in all that time did I connect those coincidences or those synchronicities to God. Because all of those experiences happened within me or very close to me, and God was, or at least the God that I was familiar with at that time, in my early 20s, that God was far away. And I assumed far too busy to be concerned with my little life. When I really began to study spirituality, I had a teacher who said to us one night in class that we each have the opportunity in this lifetime to have a close relationship with God or spirit. Huh? I have to tell you, I remember sitting in that very progressive and forward-thinking class in Los Angeles and hearing that for the first time. And for me, because I was raised Catholic, the idea of having a personal relationship with God felt oddly evangelical and slightly uncomfortable. Because, like some of you, I'm sure, not long after that spiritually transcendent experience I had as a child, or not long after that period of wonder in my childhood, I unconsciously placed God firmly outside of myself. So fast forward, I remember sitting, there in that spiritual development class in Los Angeles, and it's, God, think of it now, it feels like ages ago, but I remember sitting there and thinking to myself, what does he mean we have an opportunity to have a close relationship with God? And I remember laughing out loud when he said that. And it was one of those awkward kind of guffaw laughs, that was totally inappropriate. And I remember feeling really embarrassed. And at the same time, it was this natural sort of embarrassed reaction, because I thought to myself, God, are you how can I have a relationship with God? Like what? And it wasn't until a few years later, after, prayer and meditation and spiritual study became a regular part of my life, that I finally understood that the only way that I was going to have a real relationship with God or with the divine, a real one, was that I would first have to completely redefine the God of my upbringing into a refreshingly non-judgy and calm and steady and unconditionally loving, continual, ongoing presence in my everyday life, which I came to understand had been the real truth all along. And the second thing was that this relationship, like any relationship, must be regularly and lovingly attended to. The mystic Joel Goldsmith said, God is the I in the midst of me. God is the I in the midst of me. So my question for you, my friends, is how can you deepen your relationship with that degree of divinity that lives within you? So how might you do that? Well, I have a suggestion. I have something for you to experiment with this week. We're all at home. Why not? It's kind of fun, and we could all use a little fun right now, right? So, okay. Scientists tell us that we all talk to ourselves. Totally normal. Totally normal. Some of us do it out loud. Some of us talk silently to ourselves, kind of in our head. Either way, it's human behavior. Now, negative self-talk is a whole separate thing. And right now, I want us to focus on the ways in which we talk to ourselves in a non-negative way for the purposes of this. And actually, there are two different types of this kind of self-talk. So the first one is called instructional self-talk, when we talk ourselves through a task. It's like when you say to yourself, okay, I'm going to do this so that I can do that, then I'll go there. Right? You're talking yourself through a task. The second type is motivational self-talk, like telling yourself, I can do this. I can totally do this. Or, okay, just take a deep breath. Just breathe. That's my go-to. Again, totally normal. So here is my invitation. The next time that you realize that you're talking to yourself, and you will, I invite you to just gently stop, take a deep breath, and focus your self-talk towards your inner light, as the Quakers call it, towards your inner wisdom, as it's so often referred to in the East, towards your still small voice. Just play around with allowing your self-talk to be consciously directed towards spirit within you. No one will know, and you're talking to yourself anyway. This exercise, this spiritual practice is meant to be light. It's meant to be a gentle way of just redirecting your focus towards that universal life force that is love within you. And it's actually an ancient practice. It's found throughout many traditions across millennia. It's referred to often as, that ongoing relationship or conversation or living prayer or praying ceaselessly that we can have with God. And it's a very, very cool thing, because after a while, after you do this for a while, you will, in the most subtle way, realize that you really are in constant communication with the divine. And this deepens your relationship with God. And another thing that ends up happening as a result of practicing this, a beautiful sort of byproduct, is that you will really get on a visceral, deep level that no matter what, you are never, ever, ever, ever alone. You aren't. And there's so much comfort in that. So another way that we experience the divine is through other people. So I've spoken about how we can experience a greater level, a greater relationship with God, that is our own personal relationship. And now I really want to talk about how we experience God through other people. There's a story about the disciples in the Christian Bible. So one day they're out on the Sea of Galilee and they're fishing, as they were apt to do, and they had spent all night casting their nets, but they caught nothing. And when the sun came up, Jesus was standing on the beach, but they didn't recognize him. And Jesus said, "Good morning. Did you catch anything for breakfast?" And they answered, "No." And he said, "Well, throw the net off to the right side of the boat and see what happens." And they did what he said. And all of a sudden their nets became so full that they couldn't even bring it all in. They couldn't even bring all the fish they caught to shore. I love the part of that story where it says that they didn't recognize him. That is so interesting to me, because it's Jesus. It's Jesus. They know the guy, for crying out loud. And you would think that they would at least recognize his voice, right? But this story is, of course, allegory. It asks us to go deeper. And, how many times in your life have you found yourself in a situation where you needed something, anything? Let's say it's support, right? Maybe, you're out on the Sea of Galilee, right, so to speak, and you need, maybe it could be a shoulder to cry on, or someone to listen to you, or that friend, or that family member that you can call at 3 a.m., or that person that knows all your faults and loves you anyway. All of that is an outward expression of divinity's love for you, of God's love for you. And we forget this all the time. Where you feel love and compassion and kindness from another person, even the kindness from a complete stranger, just maybe giving you a helping hand in whatever way, big or small, that is a potent reminder of God at work through people on our behalf. This is why we grow so much in our relationships with others. We grow so much in our relationships with the people that we love. So much. And the people that we struggle to love. My favorite line from the musical Les Miserables, remember Les Mis? My favorite all-time line in that musical is, To love another person is to see the face of God. I mean, to love another person is to see the face of God. That's it. That's it. God is always communicating to us through others all the time. It's love itself that says to us, hey, why don't you throw the net off to the right side of the boat and see what happens? Man, just think about all the times, in all the ways that has happened in some way in your life. I can't even count. I can't even count how many times people in various places that I knew that I didn't know have said something, and it clearly was Spirit speaking through them for me to hear. Could just be an offhanded comment. Could be a joke told by a friend. Whatever. But it guided me to the next place. So I invite you to deeply listen and to allow the holy to be felt in your relationships. Allow yourselves to see the face of God when you look at your friends and your family, when you experience or hear stories about people taking care of their neighbors, maybe people they don't even know. That right there, that's Jesus, that's Buddha, that's Shekinah, that's Krishna, that's Lao Tzu, that's Muhammad, peace be upon him, standing on the shore, speaking through us humans. We are, all of us, channels of the divine. That is part of our job here. That's part of it. So the more that we can cultivate our relationship with the divine and hear that inner guidance, the more we are able to then share it with those around us and those we don't even know. So, again, my friends, as we begin this process of moving forward as a country and healing and learning and unlearning, as we prepare the work before us, as we prepare to do it, to participate in what I know to be the holy awakening of humanity, being peace bringers and spirit-led activists, you know, with this global community of ours so dedicated to equity for all people. To ensure this success, we must come from a place of strength and balance and faith and God, so that we can better learn from people like the Youth Poet Laureate Amanda Gorman, and use our voices to shine our light and speak our truth, so that we can remember that with God all things are possible. And so let us truly be with God within ourselves and with each other. Let us together be with God. Let's pray. So I invite you to take a deep breath in. So being with God right here, being with this love right here, I bring into this prayer our loved ones from near and far, surrounding them with love and support, with health and light. And I affirm for each one of us that we remember that the people in our lives are spirit in shoes, and that the I in the midst of each one of us is a loving God that always has our back. And I bring into this prayer now anyone in pain or fear, wrapping them in the unwavering strength of almighty love itself. And from this place of love on behalf of each one of us, I bless all people everywhere, those from churches and mosques and ashrams and synagogues and temples and circles, all people, celebrating the many ways that we experience divinity, how good it is to be part of this one human family, how good it is to be able to use our voices to speak truth. How good it is to know that each of us is blessed by this human family. We are blessed and a blessing. I'm so filled with gratitude for the love that is right here. I rest in this knowing and I allow it to be. And so it is. Blessed be. Amen. I'll see you in a bit.
Thank you, Reverend Shannon, for your powerful message today. We're going to hear from Laura Berman in just a moment. This is our time of conscious giving. We're so grateful for all the ways that you contribute to this ministry. Thank you for your gifts. They enable us to continue doing this work and to help make a world that works for everyone. You can text to give, you can pay by mail. Check out our website for all the different ways you can give. Right now, let's just hold the intention of that gift in your heart and let us say our affirmation together. From the love of pure spirit within me, I bless this gift. I send it forth to heal and bless and prosper. It does good work in the world and returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is. And now, here's Laura Berman.
She always sings about the night. Sometimes you wonder if everything's alright, but the voice is loud and clear and always about something you need to hear. She's the lady of the wind, living and standing in the shadows of once been still. She's making her dreams come true. Fortune's alive in me and you. These are our voices, our voices. It's you and me and everything in between. Our voices. We're the fire of the heart and all of forever in a brand new start. Oh, reclaiming what's always been, writing our days on the wind. These are our voices, our voices. It's you and me and everything in between. Our voices. Tell her you need her. Tell her you'd really, really love to meet her. Stomping our feet to the music, wine dripping down from the glass, drawing the possibilities, living through lifetimes past. These are our voices, our voices. It's you and me and everything in between. Our voices. These are
thank you so much. Laura Berman, you're so wonderful. It's great to have you here. Thank you to the New Thought Messengers. Thank you to Reverend Christine Green and to our incredible production team. Thank you to our ministerial staff and our office staff. You are all marvelous. I love you all so much. Thank you. I want to let you know something very special. Next week, next Sunday, the one and only Tracy Brown is going to be here with us. She is going to be helping us kick off our season for nonviolence and Black History Month. Tracy Brown, if you do not know her work in the world, oh my word, you are in for such a treat. What is Mine to Do is her Facebook page, if that means anything to you. If not, check it out. She's extraordinary. I'm so grateful she's going to be with us. Just know how loved you are, and that as we move through this week and experience the divine within us, you are held by love itself. What a blessing. What a blessing to be a part of this community. I'm so grateful for you all. I love you. All right, let's say our closing blessing. May you go in the light, as the light, and with the light, until we meet again. May the longtime sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide you on your way. You are loved. Have a good week. See you soon.